great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. Today is March 10th. March 10th, 2026. And this is episode 1016 of the Immigration Answer Show. How's everybody doing? You having a good week? It's beautiful again here in St. Louis. Another beautiful day. I went for my walk. I'm an immigration attorney, and we have offices in St. Louis, San Diego, Washington, D.C., and Chicago, Illinois. Good afternoon, one and all. I'm going to see how many people I can get to today. So I'm going to get off started right away with misrepresentation. Hello.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
I'm good. I'm calling because I already talked to you before and you made me feel better, but I forgot to ask you a question.
Okay.
So basically, I filed an ESTA, and on the ESTA, I put my official address and it's my home address because I work temporarily in Thailand, on the I-130 I sent, I put my Thai address. Can it be like a problem?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I don't know for sure. I mean, we didn't do anything with ESTA because it's non-immigrant, but I think that's just more like, hey, where are you wanting your stuff sent and things like that. I don't think that's something that's...
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I was like, I would rather have my home address in the ESTA because I'm not going to stay in Thailand forever, but timeline, I'm in Thailand right now, so I put in I-130, the Thai address.
I don't think it would have affected whether anything got approved either way, so I think you're fine.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jim. You always make me feel better.
Awesome. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
All right. Mavis is here. Hello, Mavis. You're on mute, Mavis. Paging Mavis. We'll come back. N400, hello.
Hello, Jim. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. And thank you so much for having me. So I have a quick question. So from 2016 to 2019, I was a full-time student. And, as a student, you are only allowed to do a certain number of hours of job, right?
On campus. Yep.
So I have done I have done extra hours than the limited hours of job. And, during that time from 2016 to 2019, I have filed the taxes. Everything was correct. I have paid taxes. Everything was right. And then in 2019, my wife employer filed for our green card. And then I was not a primary applicant, but, they filed for our green card. There was no interview. And on the I-485, there's a questions. They say, like, have you worked without work authorization? And when I check right now, it's a no. But I'm getting confused. Should I have to write yes or no?
Well, so let's back up. I want to ask a couple of questions, okay?
Yeah.
So when you're on an F1, you're only supposed to work 20 hours a week on campus. So are you telling me that you had a job off campus?
Yes.
Okay, so in addition to on-campus employment, you were like delivering for Domino's or Uber or something.
Not exactly, but yes.
Some job that that you weren't qualified to work for on your F1.
Yes.
And you submitted your W-2s from that employer with your taxes.
Uh-huh.
And then when you applied for your green card, you weren't applying as the spouse of a U.S. citizen. You were applying through your spouse's employer. Is that right?
So yeah, me and my wife, we were both like F1, and my wife employer were filing green card under employment base.
I believe that if you apply for citizenship, you're going to get your citizenship denied, and they might try to take away your green card.
Okay.
Right? Because you made a misrepresentation that was material to your green card. Because if you had told them you had worked without permission, you most likely wouldn't have gotten your green card. And the standard is, did you cut off a line of inquiry by not answering that question truthfully? So I think if you ever apply for citizenship, they might try to come after your green card.
Okay, then how can we deal with this situation?
Not apply for citizenship. You can't. As soon as you apply for citizenship, they're going to try to take away your green card and deport you. You lied to them. There's nothing to take care of. You made a misrepresentation and got a benefit you shouldn't have gotten.
But on the 485, on the 485, I do have listed, like, I have work, I have represented, like, this is the part-time job I have done, and this is the full-time job I have done.
Okay, that's fine. But they didn't catch it, and you marked no on the question, have you ever worked without authorization? And you did.
Yeah.
I mean, you tell me, what do you think with Donald Trump's people in charge of USCIS? What do you think would happen if you marked on your N400, yeah, I worked without authorization, and then they compared the two answers? What do you think is going to happen?
But on the N400, there is no question, right? Have you worked without authorization?
Oh, but have you ever lied to get an immigration benefit? Have you ever made any misrepresentations? There's plenty of questions that cover what you did.
Okay, yeah, because I was getting confused because, me and my wife, we were thinking, like, whether we should apply for our citizenship or not.
Well, your wife can. I mean,
Yeah.
you haven't told me anything why your wife can't, but I believe that if you do that, they're going to, I mean, we know they're going to give you extra scrutiny because you got your green card approved without an interview. And it seems like, if I was going to be your lawyer, I'd have to mark that you made misrepresentations, and that's the ball game. You're done. They're going to put you in deportation.
Okay. I mean, thank you so much.
Good luck. All right. Let's go back to Mavis. Hello, Mavis. Mavis, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. Masalama, Mavis. 19 countries guy. Hello.
Hi again. So yeah, just as they said, I was born in 19 countries. So I got to the US like 2021, and I hold a green card, and I got to the US because of the political persecution. And so since I have right 2021 August, technically I'll be eligible this August 2026 August to be a naturalized citizen. So I don't have a passport anymore because of the political situation in my home country, and so I have a day job, which is a human rights and non-profit organization. My role is to travel around the world and promote about human rights, democracy, all those stuff. Previously, I used refugee travel document, which is I-131, and so my senators, like my state senator, always had me to get it. But after 19 country policy, like December 2nd, and I applied for new refugee travel document because it's only valid for a year, but technically I can only use for 6 months. So I applied through, and I inform senator just as usual. And senators, reach out to USCIS, even though it's for human rights and democracy. And basically USCIS say, oh, you cannot because of, the country of origin. So right now I'm kind of like a stock, with my like a career advancement, all sort of thing. And so I'm going to apply, my citizenship application in May, which is like 3 months ahead of like August. So yeah, I research on Twitter, Reddit, and also do a lot of AI stuff. But I wanted to hear from human lawyers advice because obviously humans I trust more than AI.
You should not leave until you become a U.S. citizen. And you're not going to be able to because the pause is in effect. You're not going to get your travel document. And my advice for everyone is if you're not a U.S. citizen, you shouldn't leave the United States until you get your citizenship.
All right. Okay. So is there like any possible, because like, my professional career and my background is like human rights, democracy, American value, which totally align, even in the case of, I usually work with USCIS level 2 officer. They used to work with me for that cases before December 2nd, like 19 country policy. So is there any possible, like, I can push it forward to make a like an exceptional, like case by case scenario rather than like broad, country origin?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Is there any advice or like, is there any other way?
Yes, my advice is to find a new job and stay here until you get your citizenship, because you're not leaving anytime soon, and you shouldn't leave anytime soon.
Okay.
Even if you called me right now and said, Jim, I just got my brand spanking new refugee travel document. I got this great job where I go around the world and talk about democracy. Do you think I should leave the United States? I would say, hell no.
Okay.
You have to understand there's a whole new thing going on now. They're not playing fairly. They're not processing cases they don't want to process, and they're messing with people when they come back through customs. So it would be extremely risky for you to leave the United States, and you should not do it.
All right, and also like I have seen sort of like a group lawsuit, things like that, on Reddit. So do you recommend to like join a lawsuit, and how long usually does it take?
You can.
Especially, I noticed like from hacking lawsuit as well.
I have no idea how long it takes, and you can do that. But even like I said, even if you had a lawsuit and today they said, here's your travel document, I would tell you not to leave the United States until you become a citizen.
Right. Okay. But I mean, I
he's not listening to me. He just wants to keep fighting with me. This is why I don't answer this question. BM, hello. Hello, BM. Ferris is here. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
Great. Good. How are you?
Great.
So I am a dual Canadian and Syrian citizen. I'm here on an H-1B visa. I'm adjusting my status, and I'm married to a U.S. citizen. We applied in April of last year. I got my EAD and, well, I guess dual advanced parole card. It seemed like my process was going smoothly until, haven't really heard anything since, call it August of last year. I reached out to my congressman office to, follow up with USCIS and see what's the delay on my case. And they responded saying that given I am a Syrian national, quoted some proclamations that were, or executive orders, that the processing of my case is, subject to additional review. Is maybe on hold. Wasn't very clear. The policies that the executive orders that they listed, one didn't have Syria as a listed country, and the other exempted citizens of the countries listed, including Syria, if they had a dual citizenship from the the executive order. So my congressman office responded saying that basically what I just said, that my case should not be on hold. Now they haven't kind of responded yet to that counter response, but I want to know what my options are, whether there's anything I can do, or is it really just wait until something changes with the policy?
I think your case is on hold until either the lawsuits work or USCIS changes their mind. I think they're lumping everybody in, and they see the word Syria anywhere in your past, and they are putting your case on pause. This is not a precise, fair approach. This is who can we keep from getting their immigration benefits. So I think that you should join another lawsuit or file your own lawsuit once we see what happens with this first wave of lawsuits that are going on.
Got it. Alternatively, my work is offering to sponsor me for a green card. I don't know if that is also subject to the hold, or if employment sponsorship is separate.
It is also subject to the hold.
Got it. Okay, so I should just wait. I guess, is there any benefit of me reaching out to you guys to
yeah, we can. Huli can add you to our list if we do another lawsuit. She's giving me a thumbs up, so she'll add you to the list, and we'll reach out if we do a second lawsuit. Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, great. Thanks so much.
Sorry you're having to screw around with all this.
No worries. All right. Thanks.
Yep. Noor says, Jim is right. Today, I was at my local city hall. The ICE agent came in and asked all the clerks how long the marriage fraud as a federal crime sign had been there. They told him 15 years. He did a dance. Then he had them all sign a form to that effect. That's weird. Waste of our tax dollars. Kofi, N400, hello.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing, Kofi?
I'm well, buddy. I've been listening to you for like over 5 years now. And what I do is I listen to you every evening after work, just to do a few things, wind up my day.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what I do every day.
Awesome.
So sometimes I see you will be in the 30 minutes time in the afternoon, and then I'll just, cut it off, come back in the evening and watch the full show. So quick one. I came to the US in 2019 with F1 student visa. And for masters, I went to school, graduated. And then in 2021, I did get married. And I filed for my green card. And then around that time, I was still going to school. I had enrolled in PhD, so I was still, going to school. And then I also, in 2023, October, I did get my green card. And then still went ahead to finish my school. In 2024, I finished PhD, right? Awesome. So I never let my F1 go away.
So you're Dr. Kofi.
Correct. From Ghana, with the best jollof in the world.
Don't start that.
I don't want to start that. Anyways, so now in summer of this year will be my time to apply for citizenship. Still with my wife. We have a baby now. We have joint life together all these years. And I did have questions. So in 2019 and 2020, while I was doing my master's, I did use while I was filing my taxes, I did use form 1040, the regular one, instead of 1040 NR. And I've been listening to your show. About 2 or 3 people have come on the show. And then what you tell them is for them to, make the correction and send to the IRS, right? So I did that this year. I told my CPA to do that for me for 2019, 2020. So he did make the corrections. Now, the question here is in 2019 only, I did receive a tax refund of $287. And so, the CPA has made me write a check to refund that money back to them. I just want to find out if you think that will be an issue, even with the corrected form.
No, I don't.
Okay, great. That was my question. I was a little bit concerned. Yesterday, someone came on and then she asked the question of, has she committed a crime that, has not been reported, things like that. I just want to be sure.
No, because she received a letter trying to get them to admit that they had played around monkey business with their taxes. That's not what you're talking about. You just filed the wrong form and you got a refund and you repaid it. It's no big deal.
Excellent. All right, Jim. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
So, Kofi, when there's the questions, do you owe any overdue? Do you always pay your taxes? Yeah. Do you owe any overdue taxes? No. You're good on all that stuff.
Okay. Excellent. Great. Thank you so much.
See you, bud.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.
Let us know when you get your citizenship, okay?
Absolutely. I'll do that. Thank you. And I'll bring you jollof, so don't worry.
Thank you, Doctor.
Right, bye.
See ya. All right. The jollof wars have started. If Donna's here, and I think she is, she's going to start the mango wars. We should have a taste testing jollof and mangoes competition. That would be fun. Soon N400. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Jim. Do you hear me?
Yes, I do. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Great.
I've been trying to get in your show for some time, but I was not able to figure out how to get in. But today I was able to figure it out. So I have a question about I'm supposed to apply for citizenship by the end of this month.
Okay.
But my question is, I have 2 pending tickets back since 2020. I have 2 traffic tickets pending before the court. They keep pushing it. I plead not guilty. They keep pushing the hearing date. They pushed it recently to 2027.
Traffic
ticket, yes.
What are the tickets for?
It was like failed to yield and failed to proper right turn.
Why don't you just pay them? What's the deal?
They carry point.
Huh?
They carry point.
Well, won't they? Why don't you hire a lawyer and get them to amend it to something that doesn't carry points?
Yeah, I have a lawyer for it, but since that the court keep pushing the date, the hearing date,
For 6 years?
for 6 years here in New York City.
Well, you got to tell your lawyer, look, lawyer, I want to get my citizenship. I can't get my citizenship unless you take care of these tickets. I need them taken care of right now. And maybe you just pay the fee and take the points and get your citizenship.
Okay, because that was my question, right? If that will delay my case.
What a waste of time. Yeah, if the tickets aren't resolved, they won't naturalize you. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
6 years on a traffic matter. Can you believe it? What the heck? Come on, New York City. You got to do better. HA2025. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, I called you. Hello, Jim. How are you?
I'm
I
well.
called you, I think, a couple of days ago. We talked about my prolonged case, which is N400. I did my interview last year in December. But I forgot to ask you some questions. I don't know if you recall me, but I am a citizen of Syria. I don't know if you recall that call.
I don't remember the last caller. I know his doctor was from Ghana, but that's all I remember. So as soon as the call's over, I forget everything about it.
All right. So I came in 2016 with my family. I through a visit visa, and during that time they renewed the TPS, the temporary protected status for Syrian, and I applied for that. I got the temporary protected status, and I found a job. On the same time, I started the working using the TPS, and got a green card through my employment as well. The green card was extended for years because it passed through the COVID, and I think it was prolonged for no reason.
Okay.
So I started the process in 2018. I got it in 2021, dated as October 20.
And you got
So
a 10-year green card?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an EP2, it's employment. And I canceled that. After I got it, I canceled the asylum case, which I applied on within 6 months, me entering the US.
Yep.
So I withdraw it because I got my green card and my family with me as well.
Okay.
So so looking at the polls.
Wait, are you the guy that was all mad the other day?
Yes.
Okay, I remember. Okay, what did you forget to ask me?
So because the pause it's not only about holding or posing the adjudication of the cases, it's also reviewing cases that was approved prior 2021 January or after January. Like, well, my case was applied in this. The only time I got the green card is after the administration stepped down because because of the election.
You're saying if Trump had gotten reelected, you wouldn't have gotten your green card?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay.
I mean, there was a COVID, and that affected everybody, of course. And then I got my card only in October 2021. It was approved in October in 2020.
Okay.
I don't know why.
What's the question?
So, because of this pause, would they need to also review my green card application?
They say
they are holding now my N400. I did the interview in December.
I remember. Yep.
Yeah. So they are holding that now. What about my green card, which is, are they going to also review that?
Like maybe.
Come on.
I know it's total BS, but yes, maybe.
So okay. The other question, I know maybe you briefly mentioned or not, maybe yesterday, about the lawsuit. Any update of that?
What about the lawsuit?
Yeah.
What about it?
Is there any update on that, or do you recommend that we start a new lawsuit, or what do you think?
We are working on a new lawsuit. If you want to be in the new lawsuit, you can email us and we can follow up for sure.
I did, and your recommendation was I go for 1447, right? 1447B.
Yeah. Yeah, but
So-
we'll see how the judge rules, and hopefully she's going to rule this week or early next week.
Okay, we'll wait to hear from you then on that. I already reached to Daniel from your office and
He'll
told
reach
him
out.
to communicate with you about my case.
Sorry, brother. Thanks.
One last thing. For people in the bad countries, can we travel outside using green card at least?
I'm not answering that question. I don't answer questions about travel anymore. I tell everyone the same thing. If you're not a U.S. citizen, don't leave the United States.
Understood. Okay.
See ya. Yep. Not answering that again. Biometrics delay. Hello.
Hello, Jim. How are you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing great. So my question. So actually, I came. Okay, so I was living in Europe. Then I met my current wife. We met online. We started talking. So sometime, in February, I came to visit. So I saw her. I was around for 2 weeks. Then I went back to Europe because I was working in Europe. So then in June, because things got really serious, so I came to visit her again, and I was supposed to spend about 3 weeks, but for some reason, the company I was working for back in Europe, there were some little issues. So I stayed a little, and things didn't really get very well with them. So I decided. And things became very serious between myself and my partner. So we decided to take things serious. So I stayed, and sometime so I'm from Nigeria. So sometime in September, or I'll say July, we had some like traditional stuff where my family got to meet our family, and that. So we actually got married here in the US in September, and we filed in October. So we filed like the adjustment of status, the work permit, the green card, and the I-130. So, but my situation now is we filed early October, and as of today, it's almost getting to 5 months plus, getting to 6 months. I've not been called for biometrics. The only update on my case is we have received your case, and we sent you a notice. So I got a notice 1 week after we filed in October 2025. And ever since then, there has not been any update. So we've been calling USCIS, and the call center, they've been giving us different responses. The last person we called was a little bit nice. The second to the last, she was like, she could see an update as of January, ending of January, there was a certain update that is processing. But when we called today again, the lady said, "Oh, that it's like it's paused," and another person said, "Oh, we just have to wait. It's not paused." So I just called, maybe from your experience, if this you think is normal, if there's any maybe advice you can give in this case.
Sure. Thanks for the call. So,
Yeah.
have either of you been married before?
No.
Was your spouse born in the United States?
Yes.
And is there an age gap?
Not. It's not. It's like 4 years. It's nothing.
Okay.
Like.
Yep. How did you guys meet?
So we met online.
Okay, like
and we started. Yeah.
On a dating.
Like on a date. Yeah, on a dating app.
So when you met on the dating app, you were living in Europe, and your partner was living in the United States?
Yes.
Okay. And so how the visa that you had to, did you come on ESTA or did you come on something on a visa?
So I came on a B1, B2, and it was supposed to, the I-94 was supposed to expire in December.
No, I'm still on. Hold on. I'm still on the original. So we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Did you have you had a multiple entry visa?
Yes.
Did you get the multiple entry visa in Europe or in Nigeria?
No, in Europe.
And when you got your multiple entry visa, you were single?
Yes.
And you said that you were single?
Yes.
What did you tell them was the purpose of your visa?
So I told them I was coming to see a friend, because as at then we're actually just friends, and they asked, and I even put our details, like this is where I'm going to stay, and like all the details, so it was clear that I was coming to see her. So I didn't like give any misrepresentation, kind of. Yeah, I told them I was coming to see a friend, and they asked for our details, and I gave it to them. Yeah.
And you came for 2 weeks? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So the first time I came, I was here for 2 weeks, and I left back to Europe. And yeah.
You stayed with her the whole 2 weeks?
Yes.
And that was in what month of 2024?
No, that was in 2025. That was in February.
The 2-week trip was in February of 2025.
Yes.
Okay, and then when did you re-enter the United States?
I re-entered towards ending of June.
June of 2025. And when you talked when you talked to CBP and they asked, "What are you doing here?" What did you say?
Oh, so because when I came, I was here for about 2 days. Then we left because we traveled for a vacation. So we traveled. So and then we came back like a week after. And CBP.
Where did you go on your trip?
Where?
Yeah, did you leave the United States or did you go somewhere inside the United States?
No. We left the United States, both of us.
Wow, that's crazy. So you left, you entered for 2 days and then you came back with her?
Yes.
Okay. And then
we came back like a week later.
And then in October you got married?
Yeah, we got married in September.
So just to be clear, you got married 7 months after you first met and spent 2 weeks together, and you got married 3 months after you came back from that trip with her. So that's a very fast history, don't you think?
Yes, I understand, but like our family met, we had a very like a proper engagement, and we've been in conversation like ever since from ending of November in 2024. So even when we're submitting all our conversations and pictures of all the events we had done, like both our families and everything. So like we submitted we had really good evidence. We had joint bank accounts. The only thing we couldn't, it was difficult to do, was the joint lease, because the leasing office for where we were staying didn't agree to add me to the list because they said I didn't have a social security. We even paid. They said they had to do a background check, but because I didn't have a social security, they couldn't see any financial stuff here in the US. So they were quite strict. So because of that, they said they couldn't add me to the list. But we have stuff together. Like we bought a car together. Like we have a couple of things together.
Okay, I didn't ask you about any of that. I just asked you about how you got married very quickly. So what is your answer to why you got married so quickly? Because I haven't heard anything compelling so far.
So, okay, so the reason why we got married is that, okay, so meeting her, coming the other time, like spending time together, I knew that, okay, this was someone I wanted to like start a family with. So and both of us were on the same page on that. So we just felt like, okay, we should take things forward. And we actually had a proper like family introduction. So my family met her family, and like we did all the traditional rites, and yeah, basically.
But again, you still haven't answered my question. Why did you get married so fast?
Okay, because for me, we had started speaking, and it was over close to like 8 months. So for me, I was convinced in my heart that okay, this was the person I wanted to be with. So for me, and my family had approved, and our family too was totally fine with it. So for me, I didn't see anything that was holding us back. So
I think it's interesting that you keep coming back to your family. Why do you keep coming back to your family?
so I'm just saying my family because for like where I come from, it was like it's also important for your family to also approve. That's okay, like yeah, to approve, okay, this is the person you want to be with. And because for us, marriage also has a lot of family, like it's not just about just only the two of you. So that's what I'm saying, like we like our family was involved, and everything like was done like in the normal traditional way.
Okay. If the officers think that you came on this last trip to get married, what evidence are you going to have to show that it wasn't your plan when you entered after your little trip to come here and get married?
Okay, so actually I had my return ticket, and as at then, I still had my contract with the company I was working with.
Mhm.
But along the line, things really got blurry with some of the maybe some contracts they were expecting, and at some point, they were not really forthcoming. So for me, it was just better. We just decided that okay, probably maybe we should just stay. So and I stayed back, and yeah.
Okay. So what is your question for me?
So my question is that it's almost 6 months, and they've not actually called for biometrics. And when we reach out, it's a little bit confusing. We don't know if maybe it's the policies from the pause and the ban that's affecting the case, or it's just yeah, because like when we talk to like most people are like it's a really long time, not being called for biometrics for this long.
My understanding is that they can't give you an EAD with this pause in effect because you're from Nigeria. So
Okay.
I think that until the lawsuits work and they start processing these cases again, that there's nothing that you're going to be able to do to make the case go faster.
Okay.
I think it's just on pause because you're from Nigeria.
Okay. 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 Thank you. That's just what I wanted to
Yeah, I mean,
get clarification.
we're probably going to do another lawsuit. So if you want to be in our lawsuit to try to get your work card and or your green card case moving, we can let you know when the time comes. But just pay attention to the show. We'll be talking about it in the next couple of weeks. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Good luck. I think that's a tough case. I think that I think they just they plainly discriminate against people from Nigeria, and I think they're going to think that he met her and wooed her and was after a green card all along. So I think that's tough. DP, hello.
Hey, good afternoon, Jim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I called you on Saturday concerning I told my wife was going in on Monday to the Consulate in Guyana for an interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, she get through.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. How did it go?
She said the interview lasted like 7 minutes. Then I asked her about my first wife, nothing concerning my first wife.
And this was in the United States?
No, this was in Guyana, in the Consulate process.
Nice. And so does she have the visa? Is it coming soon?
She'll have to go back. Then give her the green slip, so she gotta wait until it's ready to go back and uplift it.
That's great. And so how long was the interview? How did it go?
She said it only lasted like 7 minutes. They just asked her where I work. what she's gonna do when she come over here, and that's it.
Awesome. I'm very happy, DP. Thanks for letting us know the good news.
All right, thank you, Jim. Thanks again.
You got it. Anytime.
All right.
Have a good day, brother.
All right, same to you.
Bye. All right, let's go to Mid-Eye 11. Hello, Mid-Eye. You're on mute, Mid-Eye. Got to turn off that mute button down on the bottom. We will come back. Malgi, hello.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. My US citizen spouse filed an I-30 petition for me, which was approved by USCIS in 2024.
Okay.
I attended my immigrant visa interview at the US Consulate in 2025 June. At the interview, I got 221G for additional marriage evidence. So I did provide that. We had like 8 years relationship.
8 years?
Yeah, 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a previous asylum case, which I actually withdrew voluntarily and returned to my home country. And my relationship goes beyond my asylum case. So I also did submit my asylum docs, everything with the original I-130. So I did not try to conceal anything at all, any info on any forms. My interview also largely focused on the marriage than asylum. Now, just yesterday, my case was updated and it says they returned my case to NVC. So I'm not sure like what's going to happen.
That's for possible justification. So they're not convinced the relationship is real and not for an immigration purpose. So they're going to give you the chance. I mean, it's a delay tactic. What embassy is this?
Mumbai.
So they don't believe the relationship. They think you filed a BS asylum case. They're trying to punish you for that. They're sending it back to USCIS with instructions. And I think it's going to be a while till you come to the United States.
Okay. Is this something that you guys deal with?
We can. I mean, yeah. I mean, the problem is, like I said, most of what this is a delay tactic. And but yeah, I mean, I think it'd be helpful to have us because we would get your asylum case. We would get everything. We would, we're going to have to get the I-130 reconfirmed and then sent back. So yeah, that's something we can help with, but it's going to be a slow slog.
Yeah, I don't see any other option right at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, Julio will track you down and we'll go from there. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm in touch with Daniel, your intake specialist.
Yeah. We'll tell Daniel to hit you up.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jen.
Have a great day, brother. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. Mavis, are you there?
Hello, Jim. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, Mavis.
Awesome. Thank you. I was muted before. I wasn't sure how to work this thing. I apologize.
It's all good.
So I have an immigration case going on right now. I'll try to break it down as much as I can.
Break it down.
So I was detained by ICE not too long ago, eventually leading to me making my decision of voluntary departure. So I'm currently in my country right now.
Okay. Which is
Mexico.
Okay. And how did you enter the United States?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Sure. How did you enter the United States before?
So I was in the United States for about 20 years. I entered as a kid, really. I was about 10 years old when I first entered the United States.
You didn't have
and say it again. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You didn't have DACA?
Yes, I did happen to have DACA for quite some time. And until recently, obviously. I actually got paroled to leave the country one time. So I left the United States in 2016. And I was able to return back to the United States as well with the parole. I do have, my wife is a U.S. citizen. And right now, well, she's actually here with me right now. Like, as I mentioned, I'm in Mexico now. But prior to all that, the tension from ICE. I did manage to end up there, I believe, because I was involved into an argument with my wife one time, and I ended up getting arrested. However, we did manage to resolve the matters, and the case was dismissed. So there was no charges or anything like that. But I have a couple of concerns. As one of them being my wife is she suffers from panic attacks and anxiety disorder, and it's been really rough dealing with the situation as I was pretty much her sole, I guess, support financially, mentally, and
So I have a
you know,
question.
the,
So I have a
yeah.
question.
Mhm.
When you, how did you end up? How did you end up at ICE, or how did you end up in deportation? What was the triggering event that put you? Was it the arrest?
Yeah, I believe it was the arrest. I had a case pending, and that's when that happened. That period of time where I got arrested. Shortly after, I was detained, and I got a court date while being detained.
And this was this was last year.
This was this year. I was detained in ICE. Was since last year, but oh, you're correct. Yes, I'm sorry. So this was in June. I was there for about 3 months and a half.
You were in the county jail or immigration detention.
No, I was in ICE detention.
Okay. So you said you've been here for 20 years. You had advanced parole. You left
Hmm.
the United States. Did your
And
wife?
enter legally.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Did your wife? Why didn't you get your green card after you came back?
Well, we just got married not too long ago, about a year ago, and we were in process of getting my resident card and all that, but we never really sent the petition. Um,
How are you in the
uh,
process? How are you in the process if you never filed the paperwork? You could have been. You could have had your green card right now.
Yeah, I know, and right now, I mean, I
Why
keep beating myself up for it
when
for
you
everything that's been happening. But
when you came back? Why didn't you file right away?
well, we weren't married yet when I came back from Mexico.
Okay. So then,
Uh, we just got married last year, in January, and I was shortly detained after that in June.
well, again, if you filed in January, you might have had your green card by June.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I'm talking to somebody who could have a 10-year green card right now, but instead I'm talking to someone who's in Mexico because they didn't get their paperwork on file.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a hard understanding because this was a issue with me and my wife also, just because I never wanted her to feel like that's the reason why I was with her all this whole time and stuff. So we never really, got into all that. We were just,
Clearly she loves you. She's with you in Mexico.
yeah, no doubt. It's just, right now she's struggling here as,
Okay.
like I said,
Has she filed an I-130 petition for you?
not yet. That's why we're getting some guidance from you to see if you can clear us out a path that we might have available.
Well, first thing I want to say before I forget
Hmm.
is that her being in Mexico actually hurts your ability to come back. The more time she spends in Mexico.
Hmm.
So let me walk you through what has to happen, okay?
Okay.
The first thing is your wife needs to file an I-130 petition for you. That's a no-brainer. That should have been done either the day after. I mean, did you have a lawyer in deportation?
I was I did get a lawyer, but not for immigration for my immigration case because I had the whole court case going on, and I it was just gonna be way too much money at that moment, to deal with everything,
Well, what
and
happened?
so
What happened to the criminal case?
it got dropped. It was dismissed, so there's nothing, no convictions, not whatsoever.
Well, I mean, maybe not. So, you mean they dropped it because they felt they didn't have a case, or they said we're going to put you on probation, or what?
No, I sent my lawyer to represent me, and she got the case dismissed.
So no punishment, no nothing.
No, no, no,
But then you were in ICE custody as a result of that.
no. I was in ICE custody prior to the arrest. I mean, after the arrest. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And this whole process was going on during ICE detention. I didn't. I chose not to be in detention because, from what the lawyers had told me, is that it was a process that might take, a long time, and I had to be detained. They weren't giving any, um, what is it called? They weren't approving,
Bond.
any bonds or whatsoever. So I chose to just, deal with the best option at the moment for me, which was to leave the country. But
Okay.
yeah,
So as we sit here right now, there's no I-130 on file. Your wife has not filed a petition for you, right?
not yet. No.
So that has to happen first, and that's going to take at least a year. So, you've been wasting all this time since you got married, but even after you left, you should have filed this I-130 petition. So that's number one. Then what's going to happen is your wife's going to process it at the USCIS and then at the National Visa Center. And then when it gets to the National Visa Center, they're eventually going to say, okay, time for his interview in Mexico. And you're going to go to the interview and they're going to say, well, we see you don't have a deportation order, but you did take voluntary departure. So that's good. But you have the overstay of more than a year. And so you have a 10-year bar on coming back, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why actually one of my questions was because when I did the voluntary departure, on my US CIS document, it does not state any punishment as far as time frame, but I don't know exactly if that's for certain or if it just automatically applies.
When did you come back? When did you come back on advanced parole?
On advanced parole, 2016. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you have 5 years of unlawful presence. So it wouldn't say it in your paperwork, but the minute you left the United States and went back to Mexico, you triggered a 10-year bar on coming back.
Mm.
Now,
even though it was paroled and everything?
Yeah, because you were paroled in 2016, so that cleared up your entry, which again is why you should have gotten married back then and applied for a green card back then, which you didn't do. But from 2016, that's why I asked you, when did you come back? So you came back in 2016, you left in 2026, which means you have more than 1 year of unlawful presence in the United States, which means that you now have a 10-year bar on coming back. So what's going to happen is your case is going to go all the way to the embassy interview, and then they're going to say, you can't come back to the United States for 10 years because you have a 10-year bar because of the overstay. Okay.
Well, I didn't overstay in Mexico when I got paroled in 2016. It was I think I stayed for like 25 days tops.
No, I'm talking about when you came. Okay, when you came back in 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means they let you into the United States, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And in theory, you should have only been here for a couple months, and then you should have left again. But you didn't leave again. You overstayed after parole. So you've been living in the United States without authorization since 2016. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, I did have DACA at the moment, and that's how I got my parole to leave the United States.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. When did your DACA? Did you have DACA when you left?
I had DACA when I left. That's how I got paroled to leave the country, and through DACA is how I got paroled to enter back into the country.
I understand, but after you came back, you kept renewing DACA?
Well, it was fine until 2019 that it expired, and I didn't renew the DACA since then.
Because?
Well, I was honestly just going through a lot of things at the moment, and I completely just went under by.
Okay, so that's fine. But then the consequence of that, then I was basically right. So you're right. From 2016 until 2019, you're covered, no unlawful presence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But from 2019 until 2026, when you got on that plane to come back to, or did you fly back to Mexico?
They transported me through bus.
So when they drove you back to Mexico, as soon as you crossed the border into Mexico, at that point, you had been in the United States from 2019 until 2026 without authorization. That means you have 6 years of unauthorized stay. If you have more than 366 days of unauthorized stay a year, more than 1 year, then you trigger a 10-year bar on coming back when you cross the border into Mexico. So you have a 10-year bar on coming back. Now, what I wasn't done though, because the embassy will say, okay, you can't come back for 10 years, but you can apply for a waiver. So then you can apply for a waiver and you can say all those things you started to tell me about your spouse. So you said, it's hard on my spouse. She's having a really hard time. It's hard for us to be separated, right?
Yeah, she suffers from panic attacks and anxiety disorder.
Okay, so that is, I mean, I'm sorry that she's going through that, but that helps with the waiver, right? So you're going to have to ask for a waiver of your
Okay.
10-year bar on coming back, right?
Right.
But what I'm trying to tell you is if she's hanging out in Mexico with you, that makes the waiver case weaker. Do you understand why?
No, not fully.
Okay,
Sorry.
sure. You're fine. You're fine. It's complicated. Okay. So the reason your argument would be after you get to the embassy. So again, none of this has happened yet because you haven't started the process. But again,
No, no. Hmm.
you file the I-130 petition. They say this is a valid marriage. They send it to the National Visa Center. Your wife pays the fees. Then you go to the embassy, and then they say, "Oh, we would like to give you a visa, but we can't because you have this 10-year bar because from 2019 when your DACA ran out until 2026 when you left the United States, you accrued 6 years of unlawful presence, and that means you have a 10-year bar on coming back." Right? So we might be willing to give you a waiver of that 10-year bar. We might be willing to forgive it. So that's what a waiver is. A waiver is like forgiveness. We might forgive your 10-year bar if you can show us that it's an extreme hardship, an exceptional hardship for your wife to be separated from you.
Right.
So if she's in the United States suffering because you're in Mexico and she's here, that makes a stronger waiver case. But if she's hanging out with you in Mexico and you guys are living together as husband and wife, then they say, well, Mexico might not be as great as America, but it's no exceptional hardship. So the fact that she's with you kills your hardship case.
Gotcha. I mean, she's with me because she wasn't able to maintain the apartment we were living in, as I was the one that took care of all the expenses. And, the reason why, she's here is because she wasn't able to maintain herself alone. So she had nowhere else to go, really. And so she ended up coming here for that reason.
They don't give a shit about that. They don't give a
Gotcha.
shit. And they want to deny your waiver. They want you to sit outside for 10 years. That's who they are. That's what they're doing. So there were lots of mistakes made along the way. There is a path for you to come back faster than in 10 years, but every day she spends there makes your waiver case weaker and weaker.
Got it. Okay. So what would be the recommended procedure from here forward, aside of her coming back to the United States?
The first thing is she has to file the I-130 petition. And I would say she needs to come back to the United States, maybe come to see you every now and then, but she can't live full time in Mexico. Otherwise, you're never getting that waiver.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want our help, we can help with it. But there's a lot that's happened. Juli's got you. She'll reach out, but there's just a lot of mistakes a lot of this could have been avoided in lots of different.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Mater.
understand. All right. Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate it.
You got it, buddy. So could have gotten a green card based on marriage after he came back. Could have kept DACA all the way through. Sounds like the criminal defense lawyer did a nice job getting the criminal case dismissed. Could have fought it in deportation, didn't want to sit in detention. That I get. I'm not faulting anybody for that. But lots of little twists in the road that could have been better. That was a sad case. Nurse Laura's here. Everyone say hello. Pat is here. Hello, Pat.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me?
Yes, Pat. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. Thank you. So I have my fiancé back in Nigeria. So
Okay.
I'm trying to bring her here so that we can live here, get married here together and stay here. I don't know what is the procedure, how long is it gonna take, and can you talk about it?
Sure. You're a US citizen?
Yes, I'm a US citizen.
Were you born in the United States?
No, I was born in Nigeria.
How did you get status in the United States?
I came here through my mom. She's been here for a long time, and then
Great. And so tell me about this person that you met. How did you first meet them?
Yeah, I went back to Nigeria. I visited. So it was there that I met her, and then we've been talking since that time. And I'm not married since then, so I talked to her, and we are getting to be friends and to get married.
As of right now, you're not already married.
No, I'm not married.
Okay. And how many times have you been to Nigeria to see her?
It's been like one time yet.
Okay. And do you have plans to go back anytime soon?
Yes.
And I mean, do you know about the pause? Like people from Nigeria, their cases are paused right now. Do you know about that?
Yeah, I heard that Nigeria is on the list of countries that are on the pause.
Right. So it's going to be a long time before she's able to come to the United States. And because of that, if you're willing, I would propose that you go back for one more trip. And then on your third trip after that, you get married and apply for her. Because I don't think she's getting a visa anytime soon in the Trump administration. So I'd rather you work on filing a stronger case. And that would involve you going back to see her one or two more times before you decide to get married.
So when we get married, we file, she can come as a wife or something?
Yeah, I mean, but if you filed for her as a wife right now, and if everything were okay and they didn't have the pause, it'd still be a year and a half from now before she comes. So I don't think they're going to be able to give her a visa until Trump leaves office. So I think if I were you, I would take the longer view and say, I don't necessarily want to file an I-130 petition after getting married on the second visit. I want to take one or two more extra visits and then go from there. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can help you when you're ready. But I just wouldn't get married on my second visit. I would give it at least 3 visits, especially if I'm from a banned country where I know it's going to take a while for my spouse to come here.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Pat. See you, buddy. Well, William is here. Hello, William. William, we can't hear you. I know, Sean. I didn't want to break his heart. William, are you there? We'll come back. All right. I-751 N400. Hello.
Hi, Ian. Thanks for your time.
How you doing?
Very good, thanks. So I have a quick question. I did submit my I-751 in March 2024. And then I wait another year and I submit my N400 last year in April. And I've been waiting since then. It's been more than 10 months since I've been waiting for my N400. I don't know if you know how long are those type of cases taking.
What country?
I'm from Mexico.
From Mexico?
Yes.
What field office will have your interview?
Yakima, Washington.
Washington?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it should be your N400 has been on file for a year already. Is that what you said?
The receipt notice is it says April 26, 2025.
Yeah, that's a long time. I would say that if you get to May 1st and you don't do anything, I would sue them. So call me back May 1st if you don't have an interview on your N400.
Okay. Should I try to send an inquiry or something before?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure. It won't work, but go ahead. Sure.
Okay. And can you tell me how much are you charging to sue them?
Yeah, it's $4,000 and the filing fee is $405. So it's $4,405.
Okay. Thanks.
We'd sue for both cases in one lawsuit. All right. Saya's here. Hello, Saya.
Hello, Jim.
How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Great. What's up?
For how all about, I would like to thank you. I'm a U.S. citizen now.
Nice. Congratulations. That's great. When did that happen?
Since October, but I tried to call you and I cannot get in at all.
Oh, I'm very happy. How was your ceremony? Was it fun?
It was so fun for me, but it was so emotional on that day for me too. I was like, my tear dropped. Maybe I'm so excited on that time.
Oh, I'm very happy for you, Saya. That's so great. Can you send me a picture?
Yes, I can.
That'd be great. That would make me happy. Thanks so much.
I have one question for my kid. Let me give you some history. When my husband petitioned me and my kid, I am already in here. So for me, like adjustment of status, but for my kid, consular process.
Yeah.
And my kid arrived here before my 2-year anniversary. So they received 2-year green card. But for me, I received 10-year green card. Because my green card, I received like 27 months after I get married. And now I want to file for N600 for them. Do I need to file to remove condition first, or I can start direct to N600 without removing condition for the kids?
That's a great question. Please send me that picture from your oath ceremony and ask me that question in the email. We were just talking about this the other day. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, and I don't want to give you bad advice, but I can tell you if you email me.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jim.
See ya.
See you.
Oh, that's good news. I'm glad Saya became a citizen. That makes me happy. Let's go back to William. William, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, William, hello.
Hello. Okay, let me go through my timeline. In 2021 August, we arrived. Our family arrived to the U.S. and as a students. My wife, she is F1, I am F2, and my daughter is F2. And then in December 2021, I applied for asylum, but I keep maintain for my F2. And 2022 August, I got my EAD, and I start going to this school using that EAD. So which means I violate my F1. But
you violated your F2.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife, she keep F1, and then she keep going to the school. In 2024 February, she got approved for EB2 NIW I-140. And then in 2025, we applied for 2025 October. We applied for green card for green card applications since we became the current. And my question is, in 2026 May, her OPD will expire. So at the time, she also have EAD from my asylum applications. So my question is whether she can use that EAD for keep working while we are waiting for the green card. Will she violate any immigrant status?
So she also got an asylum-based EAD off your asylum case.
Yes, but she didn't use that. But as of now, she keep using her OPT EAD.
And is her employment-based green card case on file?
Yes, we filed it on last year October. So it's like the 4 months, but we are one of the 19 country list. We are in the that list.
And did you file the I-140 and the 45, or just the I-140?
I-140 is already approved.
Okay,
yes.
So did she apply for an EAD off the 485 or no?
Yes, she did, but it's still pending since we are the one of the country from the 19 countries.
I would say that if I were her, I would do everything humanly possible to not use that asylum EAD unless she absolutely has to. But I think it could. I don't know for sure because you're throwing a lot at me time-wise, and I'd want to look at everything. But if we can avoid her working on that EAD, we should try everything we can.
Yes.
And hopefully the lawsuits are going to work, and they'll start processing the EAD off her 485, and then you don't have to use the asylum one. So just stay tuned and see what happens with the lawsuits.
Okay. Regarding the lawsuit, do you have any plan to find another one because we couldn't join first time?
We're going to try. Yep, we're waiting to see. We're going to figure it out. Huli added you to the list, so we'll reach out if we decide to do that. Okay.
Okay. I have another question that is about me. Since I told you that I have an asylum application, but at the same time, I also have the TPS. So when we fight for green card, I use that TPS as a status to apply for the green card, and then I don't have I have a little bit of out of status, but it's under the 180 days. So will they approve my green card or will they deny for that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I have to dig in on everything. That's a really complicated timeline. You got asylum, F2,
Yeah.
EAD, TPS, I-140. You've got everything going, brother. So I'd have to look it all through. I can't tell you one way or the other.
Okay. So so right now she have to try other way to not to use that asylum EAD.
Yep.
Okay. Is there any suggestion for that? Which way she should go for that, not to use asylum EAD?
Well, hopefully the lawsuits are going to work and they're going to start processing her EAD off the 485.
Okay.
That's the goal. That's what we should be thinking about and praying for.
Okay.
All
right. Thank you.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
All right. This is the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney practicing law throughout the United States. Hey, we haven't asked everybody to leave us a review lately, have we, Huli? Let's put up the old link to reviewhackinglaw.com. If you guys want to leave us a 5-star review, there are 379 people watching on YouTube and 227 watching on TikTok. If just a small 2% of you did that, that'd be a lot of great reviews for us. So reviewhackinglaw.com. You can leave us a review. Burger Boss, hello.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me? For some reason, I can't hear you.
I can hear you. You can't hear me? This always happens at about the 1:15 mark. I don't know why. Tan, hello. Tan, hello. It's about that time. Tan, are you there? CS, hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, thank you so much for doing this. I have 2 quick questions. So I am a U.S. citizen, live in the U.S. My husband lives in Jamaica. We have a interview coming up in Kingston, April of this year. And I wanted to know, do I fly down to Jamaica to be at the interview with him, or is it okay for him to go to that interview by himself for the IR1 visa?
I think it's 95% chance they wouldn't let you in, so I would save my money.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then the second question I have, we requested for a police record for him in Jamaica and found out that there is a simple, it says a simple larceny conviction that happened in 2005. And we requested for an expungement. They said the expungement will not be done until possibly or processed until September of 2026. Do we cancel our interview in April, or do we just go with the processing letter they gave us from the police department to the interview?
Well, I would push a little harder and try to get more details. I try to get the police report and everything, but expungement doesn't do you any good. They don't care about expungements. The State Department, USCIS, they don't care if you get something expunged. It's still a conviction for their purposes. So you're going to have to dig into that thing. Obviously, it was 21 years ago, so it sounds like it was maybe like a shoplifting thing, but I don't know. So yeah, he's going to have to explain all that.
Okay. Yeah. When we went to get the police record, they gave us a conviction letter back in July of 2025, and said they cannot provide a police report or police record at this point.
Well, then that means his ability to explain what happened is going to be even more important. So he's going to have to be able to explain everything that happened.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And any suggestions on what he needs to explain, or just?
Well, he's got to just tell the truth about the circumstances of what happened. I don't know what happened, so I don't know what to say, but he's just got to be able to say, this is what happened. This is what the police did. This is what the judge did. This is what happened to me. And then I would also bring some evidence of rehabilitation, some evidence that in the last 20 years, he's been doing good things to counterbalance that.
Okay, perfect. Will do. Thank you so much for everything that you do. You have a blessed day.
Good luck. Yeah, for sure. Anand's asking for my trivia question of the day. All right, I will. I have one for you. Okay. In this movie, Robert De Niro opens up the scene sitting around a dinner table with a bunch of other men, and in his hand, he's holding a baseball bat. Does anybody know what movie that is? It's a great one. If you haven't seen it, you should. I was doing another drawing today. It shows you where my mind. I've been thinking about Nelson Mandela today, so I drew a jail. I drew a jail today. I don't know. I was thinking about Nelson Mandela today, and I saw a picture of him in jail that I hadn't seen before. Tommy Boy got it. Untouchables. Tommy Boy knows movies. Untouchables is a great movie. So Robert De Niro plays Al Capone, and Kevin Costner plays Elliot Ness. Sean Connery plays Jimmy Malone, which is so great because my name's Jimmy and my mother's maiden name was Malone. So Jimmy's sort of the older Chicago cop who teaches them how to be an untouchable. And then Andy Garcia and a guy named Charles Smith is the fourth untouchable. What a great movie. Tommy Boy, isn't that a great scene when the ladies, they're trying to catch the bad guy and they're in the Union Station and the lady's got the baby carriage and it's going down the steps and Andy Garcia is laying on the ground and he's talking to Elliot Ness and he goes, "You got the shot?" And he goes, "Yeah, I got the shot." Oh man, I'm gonna have to watch that again. Yeah. Oh man, what a good movie. Untouchables. That's a great movie. Yeah, slow motion. It's great. It's great. All right, couple more questions. CR1. Oh, Cooley's trying to tell me something. Oh, send me a Slack, Cooley. CR1, go ahead, buddy.
All right. Hi, Jim. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I apologize if this question has been asked before, but with my wife is from one of the countries in the 75 country pause. She's from Brazil. We filed our CR1 last February, so February 2025, and we just got our I-130 approval this February. So we're currently going through like the NVC document process right now.
Yeah.
We just sent in all of our documents like within the last couple of weeks. So I guess if there's no request for more information, then potentially we're waiting for the interview date or the medicals to come up from everything that I've been understanding. Yeah. I just kind of want to get some guidance from you on what we're kind of looking like with the whole pause in effect, like what that's going to look like if she goes to her interview. From what I've heard, there's a 221G that we should expect if the pause has not been lifted by then, but any sort of guidance you can give would be greatly appreciated.
I think you got it. I mean, based on the conversations I've had so far with people who were a little bit ahead of her and had their interview, you're exactly right, 221G, and then the case is just on pause. Based on the Muslim ban we had the last time and everything else, I think it's just a matter of the switch is off and then they got to turn it back on. So hopefully that'll happen soon. I know there's a pretty good lawsuit that's been filed against it, sort of saying that Trump is really on the outer edges of his authority under 212F, that there are already mechanisms in place to figure out if someone's going to become a public charge. It's not a national security question. So I think the plaintiffs, actually the immigrants in those lawsuits, have better arguments than I had originally thought. So I think those lawsuits might bear fruit. But of course, Trump will appeal that shit to the Supreme Court, and then you never know what's going to happen. But
right, yeah, what I've been seeing is like it's basically like a direct contradiction to the affidavit of support that we have to submit as a citizen anyway. It's saying that I can support them, and then they approve that, and then they're still saying like, so it doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I was just wondering if it's just nice to hear from an attorney to see what kind of guidance you think, or if you think any sort of estimate maybe on like how long the pause would last. Obviously it's totally up to the administration, but any sort of like precedents.
You're still, even if they said you're documented qualified today, I mean, you can check the boards and see how fast people in Brazil are getting their interviews. Of course, now it's probably, who knows, but I would, in a normal time without the pause, you're still 4 months away. So I think that might give time for the lawsuit to do its magic. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of hoping for. So, all right, thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Got it, brother. Have a good day. All right. Hooli said Burger Boss is ready, but now there's no Burger Boss. Dun 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 dun. There's Burger Boss. Hello, Burger Boss.
Hi, Jim. Sorry about the microphone issues before.
No worries.
So I just had a couple questions regarding my wife's interview that's going to be scheduled later this month for consular processing. Just wondering if there's any red flags in my interview, in her upcoming interview.
Yeah.
We got married in February 2024. We first knew about each other in around, I believe, September 2023 is when we first got engaged. Our moms are both cousins, so we're technically second cousins. And I'm just wondering if there's any red flags regarding about our case, because I'm just wondering, this is kind of normal back home in Pakistan, like arranged marriages, like within a short period of time. So yeah.
Age gap?
She's 1 month older than me. We're 26.
Prior marriages?
No prior marriages.
Has she ever tried to come to the United States before?
Never.
And so I guess our marriage evidence would be a lot of pictures of like the families getting together and having the wedding and all that stuff.
Yep, we had a public wedding, 150 people, both sides, affidavits from her parents. Pretty much everybody knows about the wedding. And then I visited her last year as well in February for our anniversary with pictures of that as well.
Okay. And then nobody has any criminal stuff?
Nope.
Okay. And then, the one issue is that Pakistan is sort of part of the freeze. So just like that last caller who I was talking to, your wife will probably get 221G, which is administrative processing, because of this rule that Marco Rubio and the president came up with to pause visa issuance for people from 75 countries, right? You know about that?
Yeah, we've joined Curtis Morrison's lawsuit for that.
Great. Good. Yeah. So you're in good hands with Curtis, and you're just chilling. And no, I don't see any red flags. And we've had second cousin marriages before, and we've had arranged marriages and family marriages and marriages for religious reasons where it's sort of fast, and certainly Islamabad's going to be used to dealing with that. So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Okay, cool. Well, that's pretty much it, Jim. And I just wanted to follow up one last thing. Is there any way, I've heard people regarding our embassy's group chat saying, like, upload phone call logs and like chat logs. Is that like any of importance to the consular officer? Like, do they put any weight to that or no?
They do.
Okay, got it.
Awesome. Thanks for the call. Good luck.
Thank you for your time.
Peace. Mid-Eye tried to come back. Mid-Eye, are you there?
Yes.
Hey. Hi, buddy.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
So I have a question.
Sure.
I have been granted asylum in 2023, August, and I applied for green card in 2024, July. Since then, I have never.
I didn't hear what country you said.
I can file the manus or not.
What country is it?
It's from Somali. It's one of the banned country.
Yeah, so I think you have to wait to see what happens with the big lawsuits against that, and then maybe you can file your own lawsuit after that. But for now, I would just wait a couple more weeks and see what happens with the lawsuits.
Oh, there's a lawsuit coming in?
We have one on file. We're waiting to hear from a judge, but there's other ones coming. If you want to join our law, we're going to do another lawsuit probably. We can add you to the list, okay?
Sounds good.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, his audio is sort of in and out. Ariv. Hello, Ariv.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
So I have just one quick question. So I think a couple of days back in Arizona, DHS or ICE ticketed people and fined people for not having their original green card or whatever F1 visa status. So would you recommend that we start carrying original green cards with us or in person all the time?
I would.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that was my question. Thanks.
That was easy. Thanks for the call. All right, quick question. EM, hello.
Hey, hi, Jim. How you doing?
Well, how are you?
Pretty good. Just have a quick question. I have this in my mind. I believe a previous caller kind of asked the same thing, but currently I have TPS from El Salvador, and you know how TPS is ending for most of the countries, and for El Salvador it's good till September 9th, and we don't know what's going to happen then. I had TPS ever since I came here when I was 14 years old. I was able to travel with a parole back in 2022 in order to get that legal entry. And my question is, since I came here when I was a minor, and I have had TPS since then, and I was able to travel with my parole and come back to the U.S., does that trigger any what is it called, like overstay or anything, like illegal status or something? I don't know.
Why are you asking? Do you have something else cooking where you're going to apply for something else?
No, it's just in case I need to, let's say, go back to my country. I'm trying to see all the possibilities.
Yeah.
If it triggers like a, like a 5-year penalty or the 10-year penalty.
Yeah, I would have to, in order to give you that, I would never tell somebody yes or no, it's safe to go home without looking at all of their stuff. So if you want to send me an email with all of your outline of your time, we can take a look at it, but I can't tell you something like that on a call like this because it's too important.
Yes, because I'm married, but pretty much was not able to fix my situation there. But I do have 2 daughters, but I still, they're pretty young. So, and also my wife kind of wants to go back to see her family. So trying to see all the situations and So what email could I send you that info at hacking?
Yep.
Okay. So you need my timeline, like when I came in and my
when you had advanced parole, all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks,
okay. Yeah.
See you, bud.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
All right, everybody. That'll do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow at 3:30 Wednesday. Tomorrow, right? Today's Tuesday, Juli. Tomorrow's Wednesday. So we'll be back tomorrow at 3:30 Central Time. We'll see you then for another rollicking fun edition of the Immigration Answer Show. That'll be episode 1017. We're just trucking. We're just trucking on to episode 2000, aren't we? Juli, thank you for your help. Bye, friends. Laura, I hope you're feeling a little bit better. Everybody else, big ups to all the arties. Donna was here. Have you guys, hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye, friend. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.